Let me tell you something real. Life will hit you hard, harder than you ever thought you could take. There are moments when you're down so low, you start asking yourself if anybody even sees you, if anybody even values what you bring. That's when respect feels the farthest away, because you're sitting there with nothing but your struggle. But here's the thing. Respect ain't built in the good days. Respect is built when the storm is tearing your roof off and you still find a way to stand. People don't respect you for the trophies on your shelf. They respect you for the nights you didn't quit, for the mornings you dragged yourself out of bed when giving up looked easier. See, when you walk through hard times, you're writing the story that people can't ignore. You show them your grit, your resilience, your ability to bend without breaking. That's where psychology steps in. It's not about manipulation. It's about presence, about the way your mind handles the weight. Folks are always watching. They watch how you speak when you're tired, how you react when you're criticized, how you move when the odds are stacked against you. And whether you know it or not, in those moments, you're either building respect or losing it. What I want to share with you today are 5 powerful secrets from psychology that can shift the way people see you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through. These aren't shortcuts. These are truths that, if you carry them into your life, will make people look at you differently. Not because you told them to, but because you earned it. And I'm telling you right now, the respect you earn in hard times is the kind that lasts a lifetime. Respect doesn't come from demanding it. It comes from how you carry yourself during hard times. Now I want you to sit with that for a moment, because a lot of people walk around with the idea that respect is something they can demand, something they can force out of people just by raising their voice, throwing around their title, or bragging about what they've accomplished. But respect doesn't work like that. Respect doesn't bend to noise, it bends to substance. And the substance of who you are doesn't really show up when everything is smooth. It shows up when life throws that curveball, when your plans fall apart, when you're standing in the middle of a storm you didn't ask for. That's when your character walks into the room. And that's when people decide whether or not you're worth respecting. See, when everything is good, when the checks are coming in, when your health is strong, when everybody's clapping for you, it's easy to look composed. It's easy to say the right words, to walk with confidence, to play the part of someone who has it all together. But when the rug gets pulled out from under you, when you're faced with real struggle, when you're staring at bills you can't pay, or relationships that fell apart, or opportunities that slipped right through your fingers, that's when the truth of you shows up. And here's the thing people notice. People watch how you carry yourself in those seasons, and they remember it far longer than the times you were celebrating on top of the mountain. If you think about the people you respect the most, I guarantee it's not because their life was easy. It's because you saw them face something heavy and they didn't crumble. You saw them break down and still stand back up. You saw them get knocked down 10 times and get up 11. That's what sticks with you. That's what makes you look at somebody and say, man, I respect them. It's not their title, it's not their bank account, it's not their car. It's how they showed up when they had every reason not to. Now let me tell you something I've learned. Hard times don't just test you, they reveal you. And in that revelation, people see what kind of person you really are. You don't have to tell people you're strong if they've seen you survive what should have broken you. You don't have to tell people you're trustworthy if they've seen you stand by your word when it cost you something. You don't have to tell people you're a leader if they've seen you calm a storm instead of adding to the chaos. Respect comes quietly in those moments. It doesn't need an announcement. It grows naturally when people see consistency in the face of difficulty. Carrying yourself in hard times doesn't mean pretending you're unaffected. It doesn't mean putting on a fake smile and acting like nothing hurts. That's not real strength, that's denial. What it means is you don't let the weight of the moment steal your integrity. You don't let pain turn you bitter. You don't let loss make you reckless. You don't let disappointment take away your dignity. You acknowledge the struggle, you feel it, but you also decide how you're going to walk through it. And that walk, that choice, that attitude, it speaks louder than any speech you could give. Think about it. People respect the person who takes responsibility in the middle of chaos, not the one who points fingers. They respect the person who keeps their word, even when it's inconvenient, not the one who makes excuses. They respect the one who treats others with kindness, even when they're hurting, not the one who lashes out because life isn't fair. It's in those choices that you build a reputation, and that reputation is the foundation of respect. I know it's not easy. Carrying yourself with grace when you're tired, when you're broke, when you feel overlooked. That's one of the hardest things to do. But it's also the thing that separates you from the crowd. Anybody can be polite when life is treating them well. Anybody can act humble when everything is going their way. But few people can stand tall when they've been knocked flat. Few people can keep their head up when the world seems determined to push them down. And that's why respect is rare. It's not because people don't deserve it. It's because it's earned in places most folks don't want to walk through. So when you're in your own season of struggle, when you're facing that dark place that makes you question everything, remember this: people are watching. Not in a judgmental way, but in a way that will one day define how they see you. They're watching to see if you fold under pressure or if you rise. They're watching to see if your words match your actions when the cost is high. And the way you carry yourself in that moment will say more about you than any RA Summit, any title, or any success ever could. Respect doesn't come from demanding it. It comes from demonstrating it. And you demonstrate it not by being perfect, not by never stumbling, but by showing strength in your weakness, by holding your head up in your valley, and by carrying yourself with the kind of quiet courage that speaks long after the hard time has passed. People watch how you handle pressure more than how you celebrate success. That's just the truth of life. And a lot of people don't realize it until it's too late. See, anybody can look good when the spotlight is on them, when the applause is loud, when the money's flowing and the world is smiling in their direction. Anybody can smile big when the party's going, when the job promotion comes through, when their name's getting recognition. But those moments aren't where people decide whether to respect you. No, that decision happens in the pressure cooker, in the fire, in the moments where you feel squeezed from every side, and you don't know how you're going to make it out. That's where people pay the closest attention, and that's where your real reputation gets built. Pressure has a way of stripping away the mask. You can't fake too much when life corners you. When the bills stack higher than your paycheck, when the deadlines are impossible, when betrayal cuts you deep, when health takes a hit, or when life throws something at you that you never saw coming, the way you respond becomes your testimony. Folks might clap for your success, but they respect your response to hardship. They remember your attitude when life wasn't fair, when the weight felt unbearable, when you had every reason to fall apart, but you chose to hold it together as best as you could. That's the kind of thing that sticks to people's memory far more than any big celebration ever could. Think about it. You've probably been inspired not by someone who had everything handed to them, but by someone who stood tall under pressure. You might not even remember the awards they won or the money they made, but you remember that time they got knocked down and didn't quit. You remember the way they kept speaking kindness, even when people were cruel. You remember the way they took the hit, kept their composure, and moved forward when it would have been easier to lash out or give up. That image, that presence, that's what earns respect. Now, let's be honest, pressure doesn't feel good. Nobody likes to be in it. It keeps you up at night. It makes you question yourself. It makes you feel small. But pressure also reveals the strength you didn't know you had. It's like a diamond. Without pressure, it's just carbon. With pressure, it becomes something rare and valuable. That's the same way people see you. When they watch you walk through tough moments, they start to realize there's something deeper in you, something that can't be shaken. And it's that realization that makes them respect you. Handling pressure isn't about pretending it doesn't exist. It's not about walking around saying, "I'm fine," when everything inside of you is breaking. No, it's about choosing your response. It's about pausing before you react. It's about not letting your fear spill out as anger. It's about not letting frustration turn into disrespect for others. It's about controlling what you can control and refusing to let the weight destroy your character. Because people might forget your victories, but they'll never forget if you snapped, if you crumbled, if you blamed everyone else. That becomes the story people tell about you. And here's the truth: people are always watching in those moments. They're watching when you think nobody is paying attention. Your kids are watching how you handle pressure at home. Your coworkers are watching how you respond to setbacks on the job. Your friends are watching how you deal with disappointment. Even strangers pick up on the energy you carry when life hits you hard. And whether you realize it or not, they're making notes. They're deciding if you're somebody they can look up to, somebody they can lean on, somebody they can trust, or somebody they need to avoid. Pressure can bring out the worst in people. It makes some people blame others, gossip, cut corners, lose patience, or start treating people badly. But it can also bring out the best if you let it. It can teach you resilience, patience, humility, strength. When folks see you stand tall under pressure, they can't help but respect you. They may not say it out loud, but inside they're thinking, that's how I want to handle myself. That's the kind of influence that lasts long after the pressure is gone. I want you to imagine this: two people are working in the same environment. One is calm under pressure, steady, speaks respectfully even when stressed, keeps their focus. The other lashes out, complains, loses control, makes everyone else feel their stress. Now fast forward. Which one do you respect more? Which one would you want to follow? Which one's reputation will carry further? The answer is obvious. Respect gravitates toward the one who can carry themselves under pressure, because that person proves they can handle weight without collapsing. The truth is, you don't need to be perfect under pressure. You don't need to never feel anxious or never make mistakes. What matters is how you choose to show up. People can forgive you stumbling, they can forgive you struggling, but they don't forget if you quit on yourself or treated others poorly because of your stress. Respect is built not in perfection, but in the effort to stay grounded when life is trying to shake you. So the next time you feel the heat, when you feel like the pressure is about to crush you, remember that how you respond in that moment might be the very thing that defines how people see you for years to come. Success is loud, but pressure is revealing. And at the end of the day, people will always respect the way you stood when life tried to push you to your knees. Every setback can shape your confidence if you let it. That might sound strange at first, because most people see setbacks as proof that they're not good enough, proof that they failed, proof that maybe they weren't built for the dream they're chasing. But here's the thing: you can choose how you see it. You can look at a setback as a dead end, or you can look at it as a stepping stone. And the difference between the two is the story you tell yourself when you fall short. Setbacks are inevitable. Nobody gets through life clean. Nobody wins every time. Nobody reaches their goals without taking some punches along the way. And you know what? That's the very reason setbacks have so much power to shape you. Because when you get knocked down, when you lose, when you stumble, you're given a choice. You can let that moment destroy your self-belief, or you can let it carve out a new kind of confidence, the kind that's unshakable because it was tested in fire. See, confidence isn't really built in victories. Victories feel good, they give you momentum. They prove you can do it. But real confidence, that comes from knowing you can take a hit and still get back up. That comes from realizing you survived what you thought would break you. That comes from falling on your face, wiping the dirt off, and saying, I may not have won today, but I'm not done. Every time you do that, your confidence grows. It becomes deeper, stronger, more authentic. I want you to think about the times in your own life when you felt most proud of yourself. I bet it wasn't when something came easy. It wasn't when everything went smoothly. It was when you overcame something, when you refused to quit after failing, when you turned a no into a yes. That pride, that confidence, it didn't come because you never stumbled. It came because you stumbled and still kept moving forward. Setbacks are teachers. They teach you what doesn't work. They teach you where you need to grow. They teach you resilience, patience, humility. They make you sharpen your tools, rework your plan, and dig deeper into your purpose. And when you survive a setback, you walk away with a kind of quiet confidence that no compliment, no praise, no easy win could ever give you. You walk away knowing that no matter what happens next, you've been through worse and you made it. That's the kind of confidence that can't be faked. But here's the part a lot of people miss. You have to let the setback shape your confidence, because it can also break it down if you let it. If you take every failure as proof you're not enough, if you internalize every rejection as a permanent reflection of your worth, then setbacks will shrink you. They'll make you doubt yourself more. They'll make you play small. They'll make you hide your gifts. That's why your mindset matters so much. You have to make the decision. When you fall, you're not going to stay down. You're going to rise, and you're going to take the lesson with you. Think about some of the most respected people in history, the people who inspire millions. They weren't strangers to setbacks. They failed businesses. They lost elections. They got rejected. They faced humiliation. They heard no, more times than they could count. But they didn't let those moments define them in a negative way. They let those moments fuel them. Every setback became a part of their story, a part of their strength, a part of their confidence. When they finally broke through, it wasn't just about the win. It was about all the losses they endured on the way. And that's what people respect. They don't respect someone who had it easy. They don't respect someone who never faced adversity. They respect the one who faced setback after setback and still believed in themselves enough to keep going. Because that's relatable. We've all failed. We've all been rejected. We've all felt the sting of disappointment. So when we see someone rise out of that, it shows us what's possible for ourselves too. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying setbacks are fun. Nobody enjoys them. They hurt. They frustrate you. They make you question everything. But if you shift your perspective and see them not as walls, but as stepping stones, you'll start to realize that every time you hit a low, you're being given a chance to build yourself up stronger. Confidence built on setbacks is like muscle built in the gym. The resistance, the struggle, the pain, it's what makes you grow. Without it, you'd stay weak. So the next time you hit a setback, I want you to pause before you start tearing yourself down. Ask yourself, what can this moment teach me? How can I let this make me stronger? How can this build my confidence instead of break it? Because the answer to those questions is what separates people who grow from people who give up. Every setback is an invitation. It's an invitation to rise, to believe in yourself more deeply, to prove to yourself that you're stronger than you thought. And if you choose to accept that invitation, over time you'll find that your confidence doesn't just depend on success anymore. It depends on you. It depends on your willingness to get back up, no matter how many times life knocks you down. And that kind of confidence, the kind that comes from surviving setbacks, is the kind people will always respect. Psychology isn't about tricks. It's about understanding human behavior. Too many times when people hear that word psychology, they think it means mind games, manipulation, some sneaky way of bending others to your will. But that's not it. Real psychology is simply learning how people work, how they think, how they feel, how they react, and then using that understanding to connect in a genuine way. And when you can connect with people, when you really understand them, respect comes naturally. Every person you meet is carrying something. They've got a story, they've got struggles, they've got dreams, they've got insecurities. And most of the time, they're not going to tell you all of it out loud. But if you pay attention, if you listen, if you observe the little things, psychology helps you see what's under the surface. It's like a lens that lets you see deeper into someone's world. And when you treat them based on that deeper understanding, it shows. People feel it. They respect you because you get them, not because you're trying to outsmart them. Think about it. Nobody respects someone who's always playing games. Nobody likes to be tricked. Nobody wants to feel like they're being used. But everybody respects the person who takes the time to understand them. Everybody respects the person who can sense when they're hurting, when they're overwhelmed, when they just need a little grace. That doesn't come from manipulation. That comes from paying attention to human behavior. For example, when someone's angry, most people just hear the words, the tone, the volume. But if you understand psychology, you know anger often comes from fear, from hurt, from feeling overlooked. And instead of reacting with more anger, you might respond with patience, with calmness. And you know what happens? That person walks away thinking, I respect them. They didn't add fuel to my fire. They understood me. That's the power of psychology, not tricks, just understanding. Respect is deeply tied to how people feel when they're around you. You might not remember every word someone said to you,